random. So random. Let me pull these out. Oh, I can hear myself, you know? Um, hey, here we are. I was just on a Zoom teaching people how to Zoom, teaching our people how to Zoom. And now I'm here on the YouTube. So I've been on TikTok, YouTube, Zoom. I'm just all over the world. And I want to write down something before I forget, which would be to email link to Zoom training to folks. So here we are. Yay, Christine. Excuse me. Leslie, I'm hydrating. I hope you are too. Well, actually, you hydrated this morning, but you can never be too hydrated. And if you are, your body's going to tell you and have you go to the bathroom. So, Christine, thank you very much for letting me know that you can see and hear me. And yay for West Coast people at a West Coast friendly time. Yeah, so good stuff. It's been a long day. Was it 8 a.m. this morning that I was 8 a.m. this morning? I know that's redundant. Notice is my word. Okay, I love it. Notice, Leslie, what you find in your wallet. Ooh, yay. There we go. I love it. Melissa and Judy and Carla, long time no see. Christina Glendale, nice to see you. Christina, you guys. I'm just going to hype up Christina a bit. She is going to use this chunk of time of when we do a YouTube live as part of body doubling and part of a chunk of time to get some decluttering done while having some kind of media on in the background. You know, Christine has got her water and her recycling bag to continue with her office paper declutter. Very cool. Very much like Christina in Florida and Christine in California. So yay for using this chunk of time for helping you kind of move ahead with your decluttering. Yeah. Yeah, so cool. And you're welcome. I mean, here's the deal with sharing your info, sharing what you have. I have an abundance of, or maybe just the right amount of information, and it does me no good to gatekeep it, right? So it makes the world a better place for me. Now I feel like I'm singing, "We are the world, makes a better place for you and me." I have all those voices from We Are the World going through my head right now. I will not try to sing like all of them, but I will say that sharing what you have with others is a good feeling, and it makes the world a better place. Now, and this is the power of that kind of, I can't remember what, scalability, like that Fabergé organic shampoo commercial. I tell one friend and you tell two friends and so on and so on and so on and so on. And then now you know how to do it. So then you can walk somebody through it. And it's ever expanding in a really good way. Yay. Now, that being said, decluttering. Therapy Gal Sue says, "Hi, working on decluttering my day's to-do list. Love it. That I want to avoid, but I won't for this hour." Interesting. See, I could declutter my to-do list. And I did actually. I will just share with you. And this kind of comes hot on the heels of coaching somebody, reminding you that it makes it so much easier to do stuff when you've written down what you're going to do because you don't need to remember it. I use this in the real world because shortly after coaching today, between coaching and now, I had to go to the grocery store. Now, man, did it make it so much easier as I'm there distracted by all these things and the sounds and the smells and the what do I want to eat and the music playing and do I see any friends, to have that list of things to help me focus on exactly what I need. Now, did I buy some things that weren't on the list? Yes, I did. Did I also forget one of the things that was like literally the one on the top of the list because I was blind to it? I also did. But I also got the things that were, most of the things that were written down, and it made it easier to have it written down. So I like a list of things to do. Now, Carla Jane bagged and boxed up 9 boxes of fall decor last night. 1 overflowing yard bags of fall artificial flowers and wreaths, and they're heading to a friend tomorrow. Carla Jane, I'm so glad you did that, and you reminded me, because you know what's kind of silly? I don't even have my Halloween decor up. Now, I don't have much, and we do have our three pumpkins up, but I kind of forgot about it since my husband's not in charge of that. So I am writing to myself on my page in my notebook. I noticed, was it notice was your word? I should scroll back. I noticed today, oh, that's right. We don't have our stuff up. So I'm saying put up holiday decor, Halloween decor, and I might as well just do it on Friday for the trick-or-treaters. Okay. Kara's showing up. She's taking jewelry pictures, decluttering my photo station and cleared a spot for our 2 pallets of pellets. Yay for warming the house. And we have a spot for the pellets because she's been decluttering the garage. So notice how decluttering can make your house feel warmer. It can be more easy to warm your house when you don't have to go outside to get the pellets, right? Very cool. All righty. Now, Ellen is saying, Beth, I'm caught up in a total overhaul of my closet. Okay, notice, gulp, gulp. I am caught up in a total overhaul of my closet. If I can't have a fancy closet, it looks like I have to declutter instead. Trying to chunk it down, but I need to move too. Now, Ellen, I want to help you with this. And can you rephrase or elaborate on what you mean need to move? Is that like you want to move at a faster pace, or are you literally needing to move out of your home or your closet? Okay. Because what I want to offer you is this is we may think that chunking down can slow us down. So I'm going to answer the question or help you out as if move means I want to do it quickly. I want to be driving at 75 miles an hour and just be done with it type of thing. What I want you to notice though is when you imagine you're in a car, when you drive at a speed that is faster than your nervous system can handle, it can cause other issues. It can cause stress. And also, when you're under stress, you also, and notice even that phrase, under stress, it stresses over you and you're under it. That's another kind of down that you notice. When you are under stress, you don't make the best decisions. And what do I mean by the best decisions? You may make a decision to keep too much, or you may make a decision to let go of some things that you might later regret because you're trying to do it so quickly. Yeah. No, Carla, Jane says, I can't drive 65. These new ADD meds do not work. Yeah. Yeah. So notice when you're speeding, sometimes that can feel fun, but also you may be expending a lot of energy spinning your wheels versus getting into a nice groove and being able to put yourself on, like, what do they call it? I was just using it 2 days ago, cruise control at a good speed that you feel good about the pace you're going through. Okay. So moving too slowly, think about when you're driving. Moving too slowly can feel somewhat uncomfortable. Moving too quickly can also feel uncomfortable. Moving at a pace that feels good to you is what we aim for. And that pace will differ depending upon the road conditions, right? 55 miles an hour on a highway can feel too, what do I want to say? Too slow or too fast or just right, depending upon what else is going on around you. So there's that. There's that. So here's the thing. I remembered by looking at my schedule for today that during today's TikTok Live, I'm just curious. Again, notice the lack of judgment in my tone. I am just curious if anybody here went through a shelf in your cupboard to see if there was any food that you weren't eating, but you felt okay donating to a food bank. Now, you don't have to do that, but it's just something I said I would follow up with. Now, I will share from me. I did not do that because I'm talking, what was that? Somebody had a cupboard and it was bare. Was it the bones and then they had none? Who had the bare cupboard, right? It was some lady. I'm really bad. This is a Mother Goose rhyme. When she went there, little wait, hold on. I got it. Here's my brain. Something old Mother Hubbard went to the cupboard to get her poor dog a bone. But when she got there, yeah, her cupboard was bare, and then her poor dog had known. That's how I always said it as a little kid. Okay. I'm really down to some really interesting foods that I'm eating because I told my husband, I'm always saying, let's eat what's in the cupboards. Okay. Thank you, Mother Hubbard. Yeah. So I looked and I said, no, I really am down to the bare wire of the stuff I have. But what I did do instead in that regard is when I went out to have coffee with a friend of mine, she mentioned that she is going to be um, volunteering. She and a couple of friends are going to be volunteering at a food bank. We are lucky enough that our town has a local food bank. And so I said, sign me up. I'm available on that day at that time, and I would love to do that. So that's how I'm helping out. Excuse me. Um, Now, I love it. Leslie M says, I put together food to drop at my church. You inspired me. Yeah. So I noticed that too. So we have a food pantry in our town. We also have a number of the churches have food banks. I also noticed too, this I think was a part of the Boy Scouts. They repurposed some old so funny, like the metal boxes that used to have the newspaper in it. Like when we first moved to town, there was literally a daily newspaper here. Then it went to weekly, then it went to weekly regional, and now it doesn't exist. But we have some of those like free food banks scattered around the town. So we have some options to do that. So I just want to suggest to you that if you're thinking, oh, my town doesn't have a food bank, there may be things because you've never had to look for it. Okay. Yeah. Now, here's a fun thing. Carla Jane says, I did not, but I did start cooking up things in the freezer. That is also a really good way of taking care of yourself and your abundance. She says, the entire lunch did not match, as they used to say on TikTok. Do you guys remember this one? Girl dinner. Man, I had the wackiest combo the other day, but so it doesn't necessarily have to match, but it was not wasted. Yeah. Therapy Gal Sue says, set up a recurring donation. I wasn't at the live, but listen to the replay. Awesome. Yeah. I also have a recurring donation to our local food bank because I know that my infrequent donations of random food um, is not as effective as if I just say, here, have some money and spend it because you know what people need and money is flexible. So I feel good about taking care of people in that respect. So I just offer to you, like, if you didn't do it today, maybe just experiment with. And again, you don't have to do the entire kitchen. You don't have to do any of it, frankly. But if you want to, practice with just one cupboard, one shelf, and just even notice the food you already have. Make a plan to eat the food you've already spent money on because another thing that is wasted money is food that you don't eat that expires and then you got to throw it in the trash. That's why today, when I did some grocery shopping between coaching and now, I was very mindful, very demure, very mindful about buying what was on my list. My list was organic in the fact that I was writing down things as I noticed I didn't have them and that I wanted them, because certain things I didn't have, nor did I want. And I paid attention to the quantity that I bought. I bought literally one tomato, one potato, and another potato. Potato, potato, tomato, tomato, let's call the whole thing off. And then I started dancing around like Fred Astaire. No, but I know. And you know what's so goofy? You guys, I'm cracking up. I just realized last week. And you know why? I bought a freaking bag of potatoes. Guess who's going to be eating a lot of potatoes this week? I just remembered. So I'm going to write a note to self. It's going to happen. There is a bag of potatoes. There is a bag of potatoes. I'm going to stick this in the kitchen. I'm so silly. But notice, I'm not going to beat myself up. I'm going to laugh at the comicness that even as I'm trying to be like, look at me, I'm telling you guys what to do. It's like, oh yeah, I just bought 2 potatoes tonight and I have already a bag of them. So eat lots of potatoes next week, I believe is going to be on my list. Okay. Jeanette, nice to see you. So where are we? It's 8:17 p.m. on Wednesday, October 29th. Beth, Destination Decluttering Life Coach at your service until 9 o'clock. And as a reminder to the folks who are part of the Destination Decluttered email group, of which I hope you all are, and I'm thinking many of you might be because you knew via the schedule that I was going to show up this date and time. And as a reminder, tomorrow we have a costume party. Now, if anybody has any questions about the costume party, let me know. But basically, my thought was, I bet each one of us has at least one piece of clothing in our collection of clothing that we are saving for sentimental reasons, but we don't currently wear it. And if we look ahead through the windshield into the future, we don't have a clear idea of when we might wear it, and yet we're still hanging on to it. So that piece of clothing is basically your costume for the costume party. Do you need to put it on your body to attend the Zoom party? No, you don't. Would it be helpful perhaps for you to take it from wherever it is, if it's on a hanger or whatever, and bring it to the party so you can have it next to you, kind of get it out of circulation temporarily to really take a look at it? Sure. But that's what I want to, that's the goal of the goal of the costume party is A, to connect with people, B, to have fun, but C, to use our social connection for good in the fact that if you write down the story of that item, you may feel better about whatever the decision you make is. Yes, I'm going to keep it and I'm going to wear it. Yes, I'm going to keep it and I'm not going to wear it, whatever. But noticing what your story is about why you're keeping it and just playing around with different things you could do with it until you come to an idea that makes you feel good. Now, here's a fun thing. Sue, you're making me feel better about cornstarch today, and I have 2, not as easy to use up as potatoes, which reminds me of that TikTok, and it was probably on YouTube as well. It's like, go to the store, buy a bottle of hoisin sauce, come back from the store, you have a bottle of hoisin sauce, right? So it's going to happen. If I had taken inventory, I would have remembered that I had a bag of potatoes, but I will, kind of in my defense, I can see in my head why I didn't remember it. One was because it was a new bag of potatoes, but also it said to store in a cool, dark, dry place. So the potatoes are actually in the cupboard with my mixing bowls and our George Foreman grill. And so it's not with the other, like items are not together. So I did not easily see it in the cupboard with the food. Okay. Yeah. And that's cool. Carla Jane. Notice Carla Jane where you're at. Yeah. I have already donated all of the clothes options. High five from a distance, lady. Awesome. You can also show up without a costume at all. She says, but I'm going to still be there with the things I'm good with my decision to keep. First time I think I ever might have been one step ahead. Well, maybe it's the first time. It is definitely not the last. Okay. It is definitely not the last. The other thing too, speaking of, and I don't mean this to be all like, oh, we're having a meeting of the declutter group, but that being said, if you're struggling with any clutter situation, put it in the chat and we can totally help with that. Okay. But since there don't seem to be any active issues or things to kind of struggles with clutter in the chat, I'll use this time to kind of elaborate about stuff. And one of the things I felt very strongly about today was I made a decision was that um, I do need to spend some of my own time um, scheduling TikTok lives for next week, declutter parties for the month of November, and stuff like that there, as we say in my family. Uh, what was the thing I was thinking of? Oh, for November and December, I will be switching who we donate the money to our local food bank. And that's because there are going to be a lot more people that are going to be feeling not good physically because they don't have food. That I want us to be able to help children and elderly and people of all genders and not just the women from the shelter. So from now moving forward, I feel it feels like a good decision to when we are donating any of the money, or excuse me, all of the money from the declutter parties moving forward, it's going to go to the food bank. Okay. Because think about it. When we coach, we talk about the fact that we always want to start from the crown on down because how you feel physically affects everything you do. Now, I bet we've all felt hungry, but not starving. Maybe we're starving, but we know we have food. Can you imagine feeling hunger and feeling then stressed out because you have no food? That's not a good place to be. And we all can do something about it. Okay. So I will say this, I will get that set up for November. And again, I'm writing stuff down so I remember these things. So November parties equals 100% to, it's called packs. So I'm going to write that and I will change info on website. And especially during the holidays and especially during the season of Thanksgiving, where there's so much of an emphasis on food, you know? So yay. And thank you, Judy and Sue for, giving me the thumbs up on that. Great idea. Yeah. Oh, Jeanette, I'm sorry yeah. So notice, what can you do to make yourself feel better physically? Hopefully there's food in your cupboard. If not, where can you get food? And I will say this, in these times of political struggle, I think this is more of an opportunity to be the good person that I know you guys are, in visibly stepping up and helping more than you have in the past, or however that shows up. So I'm doing that. And I love the fact that our community is helping people who are struggling as well. Okay. Leslie M says, yeah, that's me. So we've got people who have too many potatoes, too much cornstarch, and too much brown sugar. Yeah. There you go. All right. Jeanette, you went to a Food Locker by me. Yeah. So that can be tough. I am glad that there's help near you. I am. And it's crazy times we're going through. Okay. Crazy times. But I will say this, being an evening YouTube live, we're going to acknowledge that the world is crazier than I think it's ever been in my entire existence. And maybe years before that, I do not know. Learning how to regulate your nervous system at any time and make yourself feel better physically and nervous system-y is going to be a superpower. Okay. And practicing that is something we're going to do for the last half hour, which is setting ourselves up so that we have a good night's sleep. Okay. We have a good night's sleep. Okay. So I just pointed because Christina is decluttering. Remember I said she's using this chunk of time to help her declutter some? Christina just found a $50 gas card she was gifted. How cool is that? Notice that decluttering sometimes is a treasure hunt and you don't even know it, but you find a treasure. Yay. Also, speaking of that, anybody who is decluttering clothing, I've seen enough of these YouTubes that I don't believe, and it's actually happened to me where I have thrifted clothing and found money in the pockets. So make sure when you are donating your clothing that you go through all the pockets of everything. Okay. Um, there was a funny one actually last night. Some guy was doing it, and it's kind of like, people tell stories, but he's like, oh my God. And then I found this. And then what did I find? And he literally like pulls out a bag of like, what was it, like breath mints and some Rolaids, you know? So um, notice we have preconceived notions about what decluttering is. It's going to be painful and arduous. Why isn't one of our preconceived notions is, as I like to say, there's gold in them Lar Hills. I could find something valuable. I could find, something that I lost, something I forgot I had, something that, you know, I hadn't remembered. So think about that. Notice how you talk about. Okay. There we go. I love this. Leslie says at 8:30, I switched to self-care. So we will do that too. And here's a fun thing too. I was talking about this with a client today, and I use this a lot, is creating your own toolkit of things that make you feel better and things that you can use to make things easier for you. So notice, for example, in Leslie M's self-care toolkit, she has the following: face mask, lotion, etc. So she has a list of things she does. Do you have a list of things you do to take care of yourself at the end of the day? If you don't, maybe take a moment and write down those things. Now, the funny thing is to me, and it's actually on my kitchen table, I don't have it. My habit tracker, the last 3 or 4 lines on my personal habit tracker are things that are part of my nightly self-care. And the reason I write it down on my habit tracker is because I will forget to do them. I will not do them. And it helps me show up taking care of myself at the end of the day with the same idea of when I take care of myself at the beginning of the day and during the day. So it's kind of a wind down. Mine includes brushing my teeth, flossing my teeth. Do I floss every day? No. But when I put flossing on my habit tracker, I floss more than I do than when it's not on there. I wash my face and put on some moisturizer. I take nightly vitamins and medicines and stuff like that there, and drink some water with it. So some of those things are my self-care. So Leslie, could we all think about it? You could have like a little individual slumber party together. Writing down, take a few minutes, write down some things, and then start your self-care right now. To me, honestly, if I wasn't talking right now, I'd be taking off my bra and my uncomfortable clothes, and I'd be putting on more relaxed clothes. It would make my body feel better. I'd be more easily able to go, as opposed to being somewhat restricted with whatever, elasticities that I have. Maybe one of the things I would do is glance at tomorrow's schedule to kind of prepare myself to say, okay, what time do I have to get up tomorrow? So that I can be mindful of when I decide to shut off all the lights, including my cell phone, and go to sleep tonight. Is there anything else I could do to make myself feel better before I go to bed? Now, one thing that occurs to me is that I'm reading a book, and last night, as I was reading it, my pace slowed down. I got tired, and it's a good book. I'm really enjoying it. And so I offer to you that I was running low, and I was like, no, I don't want to just kind of get it done just to get it done. So I have a few pages left of my book. I think it would make me feel good if I read those last few pages while I have some energy to do so. So think about the things you could do to make yourself feel good. You know, There we go. Lexi P, as a mom of 2 under 10, a shower is my self-care. I make sure it's as long as possible. That sounds delightful. I took a nice long shower today too. And I love and I'm not a mom of 2, but I will tell you, warm, hot water, cleaning, bubbling up, moisturizing, doing a really good scrubbing the scrubs. What a delightful feeling. Yeah. Habit tracker is a great idea. I'm going to do one tomorrow with my coffee. Yeah. So, Leslie, as a reminder, and also what you might want to think of is, because I got to do this myself. In fact, I'll do it right now. You could do what I am doing, which is you could go to the secret page. You could stroll down to 1, 2, 3, 4 down, download and print your Pavers and Potholes monthly habit tracker. You click on that button, and if it works like mine does, it pops up with like a preview of that. And then I'm hitting the print. I'm making sure it's printing, and I'm gonna be fancy, and I'm gonna print it in color so the logo looks like that. And I'm gonna print my Pavers and Potholes habit tracker, because November 1st is like in 2 days. Yeah. Okay, Carla Jane, we will pray for you that you get insurance by October 31st. I am truly concerned. I have done literally all I can do. Yes. Notice how being afraid of pain and pardon me. Just want to make sure the printer was not interrupting. Fresh habit tracker. Literally hot off the presses. Well, it's not hot. It's like lukewarm. Notice how being afraid of your body getting hurt and how much it costs in this freaking country to take care of your body can create a nervous system stress. Okay? Yeah. And what I want to offer you, Carla Jane, is we will all send prayers. And when you're doing stuff, do not give up on it. But if you don't get some insurance by then, keep on keeping on about it. And also really be careful with what you do with yourself. Okay? Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing. I actually like the fact that some of these ridiculousnesses that we have lived with for so long are really being in our faces all the time, especially compared to how other countries take care of their people. And I am hoping that these discrepancies, the fact that, as somebody said today, that there are starving children in a country that has billionaires, I'm hoping this will all create some well-needed overdue change. Okay? So, Judy Dukes, give it a shot. I'm going to try again on the habit tracker. Isn't it kind of funny, don't you think, that your habit of not using the habit, you have a habit of not using the habit tracker? You know, I am in the habit of it. Now, I will share with you, my October one looks vacant. I have done some of the stuff, but I was away for so many days. I kind of got back in the habit, and then I was away. So I noticed that. I'm not judging myself, and I'm just going to start up again today. As I said, I'd be filling in boxes with my little markers right now if it weren't on my kitchen table. So maybe what I will do tonight, as I'm doing my self-care, is I will take 30 seconds and I will fill in the boxes of the things that I did do, because I did take my stuff today. I did drink some water. I took a walk. I don't know what else is on there. I'll have to check. Yeah. Now, here's a fun thing. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. X's. Remember earlier today when we were going through photos and I said that there was a photo that I tore up? Guess whose face was on that? Guess what felt good to kind of tear up that face? Now, I don't really have the animosity. My God. I love my life now so much that, what's that thing? The best way of getting back at somebody is living well. I know it's a fancier, there's a better way of saying that. Living well is the best revenge. So, but yeah, sometimes they can be stinkers. Aren't we glad they're exes now? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, Judy Dukes, If you tell yourself you're not good with habits, you're in the habit of telling yourself you're not good at something. Notice you're thinking it's even worth being retired. But what I will offer to you is you're going to be retired for the rest of your life, right? So why not get better at it? Why not just practice getting marginally better? Am I saying being perfect? No, I'm saying get marginally better at one habit. Put one thing on your habit tracker, make it so easy. Maybe you also sneak in some things that you do habitually already to kind of prime the pump, to remind yourself that you do certain things habitually. Now, I will share with you, there's one thing that's been on my habit tracker for the entire month, and I've maybe done it once. And I know that I need to crack that nut. It is using my weights for my upper body strength. But you know what I'm doing? I'm going to physical therapy tomorrow to learn a system to use, and that will probably encourage me to do it because I'll have some external accountability. Okay? Yeah. Yes. And let's all send good vibes to Carla Jane. Um and oh, this is going to be interesting. As I glance down at my busy day for tomorrow, Carla Jane, you know our hearts are with you, and you have a couple of days. And notice how not just this crew, but you said you talked to a fantastic person at 6:14, and they hoped to expedite it tonight. Yeah. So there are helpers out there. As Mr. Rogers said, look for the helpers. Look for the helpers. They are there. Be a helper and look for them. We can all do the same thing. I need help with somebody holding me accountable for doing whatever my arm thingies are. Carla is helping a friend with the fall decor. Somebody on the phone is helping her get health insurance. Somebody else is donating food or money to a food pantry. Somebody else is at a food pantry donating their time to pack up these boxes. Look for the helpers, the good people. I want to believe that there are more good people in the world than bad or evil. And even some of the people that I might be on the surface categorizing as bad or evil may be good people underneath, but they are afraid of something that is causing them to act in fear and anger. Now, that being said, I think it's up to them to find that out and to change to be good people. Yes, but what we focus on grows. So focus on the good, as Christine says. Focus on what you do well. Again, why not just even practice? How about this? Judy Dukes, think of things you already do and put your entire habit tracker of all the things you do already kind of on a daily basis, and put one thing that's new, that's simple and easy. Okay? Yeah. Yep. Okay, there we go. Wendy LCM says, thanks for the water reminder. See, some of us, including myself, need to be reminded. Okay, better get a second one down before bed. It's a 30-ounce Yeti. All righty. I have to be reminded to drink water. I do. Or drink anything, rather, because I forget. Also, I think sometimes because I feel like I'm going to the bathroom quite often, even though that's maybe not true. Sometimes I don't want to be, especially on the road. It's like, oh, if I drink, I'm going to have to pee. But notice, we have 20 minutes now. Even if we all drink an ounce a minute, which is just a sip every minute, you could drink some water, and every little bit helps. Some of the things that really help our bodies and our brains feeling better are literally oxygen when you breathe and liquid oxygen known as water. Getting some air into your lungs so your lungs can send it to all the millions and trillions and cajillions of cells in your body. Lubricating your organs and allowing yourself to flush out the toxins by drinking water. Sure, there's other things you can do, electrolytes and stuff like that, but start with the simple stuff, breathing and water and comfortable clothes. It will make it easier. Okay? So Judy Dukes is going to notice. Leslie, that goes out to you so you can drink some water. And anybody else who chose notice as their hydration word, as we call it. Judy is going to examine her day and notice some of the things that she does habitually on a daily basis. And she's going to load those into her November habit tracker so she can tag a lot of wins. Yeah. And what do you do on a habitual basis? I'll brush my teeth. I'll take a shower. I'm just kind of priming the pump for Judy. I will get dressed in going out of the house clothes. Will I wear what they call hard pants? Not really. I don't wear hard pants no more. But I will wear clothes that aren't my pajamas. I will get out of the house and do a walk at least once outside. So these are some things that I have made a habit of. And it feels kind of strange when I don't do them. That's when you know a habit has been ingrained and embedded in you. But on the same token, there are some things that may never organically embed like that. They may if you do them often, but sometimes you may need to always be reminded to take your medicine. But if you were the only person that it happened to, somebody would not be making big bucks in weekly pill minders to remind you visibly to take your pills. So you're not alone if you need some sort of prompt, some sort of tool, some sort of something to aid you in doing a thing that's good for you. You know? Yeah, so Christine says hard pants. Yes, never heard that term. I wear medium soft pants outside my house. Yes, I wear super soft pants in the house. Outside my house, medium soft. Yeah. Yeah, I heard hard pants from somebody and I totally knew what they were saying. Yeah. I used to think like when I would go out to shows and stuff like that more than I do now, it's like my going out clothes were always the less comfortable version of my everyday clothes. So like tighter jeans, smaller t-shirt, higher heels. So that type of going out clothes. I think post-COVID and also post-COVID aligns with my kind of era of life where it's a bit kind of postmenopausal, pre-retirement. So I am happy to never wear hard pants again. So yeah. Oh, all right, you guys. It's 8:44. There we go. Yeah. Wendy uses the tool of her phone in her phone's calendar of the safe place I put important items. Like a birthday gift, I set a reminder to tell me when it is near that time I need it. Yeah, so many people do this. Many people, I remember my sister showing me that she uses a lot of the alarms on her cell phone to remind her to do certain things at certain times of the day. So that could be a thing. Yeah. Christina Glendale. Christina is making out like a bandit. Oh my God, $100 Disney gift card. Here's a funny thing. Christina was sharing with me earlier today that she was not really excited about going through some paperwork. You know what paper you can also find? Are gift cards. Well, technically they're plastic, but they're flat and they can get stuck in between pieces of paper or stuck on a piece of paper. You know what? It's also paper? Money. You might find money. So anybody who's afraid of going through a thing of paper, you may get a notification that you have a refund coming. A check may be in the mail. Something nice may be kind of in between, kind of cluttered up in between some stuff that you weren't psyched to look for. Yeah. Ha 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 ha. No, I do love it. I love it. Carla Jane says, I don't care about the ex, but I did get into some amazing jeans in the past 7 years that I could not. Yeah. So, I mean, focus on the good. But yeah, Christina Glendale doing her decluttering is up $150, people. $150. How fun is that? And the answer is, it's very fun, actually. So fun. Yes. Wendy is saying we really should keep track of the fun stuff people find, like how much money in gift cards, cash, jewelry, etc. Um, what I will offer to you, Wendy, I wish I had kind of earmarked one of the TikTok lives. We did that once. We did, and it was literally up to over $1,000. Yeah. Christina Glendale. I almost feel like, check it out. Make that $200. $200. A $50 McDonald's gift certificate just found. She is winning the lottery tonight. Yeah. And notice, had she not decided to just go through some paperwork to declutter it, that stuff would still exist, but she would not know about it. And so she would not be able to discover that. Okay. So, yay, you. So, here's the thing. Okay. Carla Jane is asking about the holidays. I love it because this to me is the time of year where getting an idea of what your calendar is looking like is really important. So let's do that. Okay. So you might want to jot these down. I love a calendar girl. Every day of the year. I'm a calendar girl. So a couple of things you want to remember. This Friday is Halloween. This is Halloween. This is Halloween. Okay. Thanksgiving itself is Thanksgiving is 4 weeks from tomorrow. So there are 4 weeks between now and Thanksgiving, and Thanksgiving is on Thursday, November 27th. Okay? In those 4 weeks, okay, I will be scheduling a number of decluttering parties. And what was I going to say? Leslie, send me an email about your interest and availability for those weekend declutter parties. I see a couple of weekends that work better for me, but I want to align them with when it would work better for you. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Wendy, I'm goofed up about what day of the week it is too. But you know what? Notice the different energy. Pretend tomorrow's Friday. So okay. So 4 weeks from tomorrow is Thanksgiving, the 27th of November. Then, let me think. 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks from that is Christmas. If you celebrate Christmas, it is Thursday, December 25th. A week after that is the first of the year. So that sounds about like 9 weeks from now. Okay. Yeah. Now, Carla Jane, I remember you at Thanksgiving last year, and notice what you think is going to be difficult, you're going to make difficult with everybody. Focus on the good. Focus on what you can do. Don't already start feeling bad about Thanksgiving 4 weeks beforehand. You're just going to end up feeling bad for a long time. Why not plan a different thing? Yeah, Christmas is 8 Sundays away. Yeah, and it's on a Thursday. So that's what we have working with us. The other thing too is looking at the calendar. Okay. Looking at the calendar, there is some time that I will be off the grid because I am traveling in the first half of December. And also, I don't know how it's going to work out, but I also am getting some old people talk cataract surgery. So I'm not sure I will be up for doing a YouTube live or a TikTok live. I may need to be laying down. I'm not sure. So know that about December, okay? And our schedules. All right. Okay, Leslie, awesome. Will do. It's on my list for tomorrow morning. I love a list. I love the morning. You're all set. Thank you for your generosity. You're welcome. I like being generous. Kara just added 19 drafts to Facebook Marketplace. Had to stop taking pics, but probably a good idea because I can list these tonight. So notice she found a good stopping point. That's awesome, Kara. Yay. Good stuff. Noticing when you can stop. Here's the thing. You don't have to only stop at the end. You can find a good stopping place along the way, much like a road trip. Where's a good place for me to stop for the evening? Where's a good place for me to pull my car over so I feel safe and feel good about the progress I made today? Yeah. There we go. Carla Jane has some big boxes and bags leaving here tomorrow. Rock on. And Wendy says, last year, I spent my first Thanksgiving alone. I survived, which is big because we're afraid we're not going to survive something that we're afraid of. I survived and, emphasis mine, and came out better for it. I spent the 4-day weekend cleaning out my nightmare closet, 18 loads of laundry, and a bunch of bags for trash and donation. Channeling that energy and decluttering, and you're ahead of the game. Yay, Wendy. And thank you for sharing your tale of success. I remember when my dad passed away in October of 2010, I was afraid of what Thanksgiving was going to be like that year without him at the head of the table. Were we just going to sit and cry? Was it going to be so painful we couldn't eat? It wasn't easy, but we survived. And reminding yourself that you survived something you were afraid of gives you comfort the next time you're afraid of something. So, Carla, you may be afraid of Thanksgiving for various reasons from the past, up to and including the fact that you are now officially divorced and your husband is now remarried. I remember those days. But what I want to offer you is you are strong and you will get through it. And not only will you survive, but you will thrive. And perhaps you could think of what a good Thanksgiving would look like and feel like and function like for you this year, and aim for that, and we could make that happen. Because here's the deal, is that a lot of what we talk about with the process of decluttering, of deciding a destination, where the hell's my head and my hands here? My God, it's late. Your destination right there, setting an intention. I intend, this is what I want. And doing the things that get you closer to it is how you create what you want. If you want to not feel like you're dreading that, what can I do? I can do something a little bit each day. But it's something, all of us can work on. There's that. There's that. All righty. As you can tell, I'm kind of running out of steam, which is fine. It's 8:54. We have 6 minutes left. As a reminder, speaking of calendars, I looked at this, and this is kind of new. I've rarely done this before. I have a very front-loaded, what do you call it, morning tomorrow. So our TikTok live tomorrow on Thursday, October 30th, is at 6 p.m. Eastern. I don't know as if I've ever done a TikTok live or a YouTube live at 6. It's kind of an odd time for me. But what I wanted to do was have that time and then have some time in between, because then instead of having a YouTube live at night, like tonight, tomorrow night is going to be this free costume party just for the people that are part of the Destination Decluttered email group. It's not just going to be the Pen Pal group. It's open to anybody who wants to show up. It's a Zoom. It's free. And Christina says, yay, body doubling. I love that. Notice she had a chunk of time today. She's been at it for about 50, 55 minutes, maybe longer. In this chunk of time, in addition to finding probably over $200 worth of good stuff, she can also probably has some more categorized piles of paper than when she started. Noticing that you can chunk down, that what works for you. When you notice, write down the tools that work for you. Body doubling, having something on in the background as you keep busy. Find out what works for you and set yourself up for success by bringing the right tools in your toolkit to any project you have. The tools in my toolkit tend to be a pen, a notebook, my brain, a calendar, and ideally having had a kind of good night's sleep. Notice I don't say a perfect night's sleep, so that I feel kind of clear-headed and it's easier for me to focus on and to think. That typically happens to me early in the morning. Gotta get up early in the morning. I'm not sounding like the Gap Band, okay? And so I suggest to you, find out what are the tools in your toolkit to help you get stuff done, your toolkit for self-care at the end of the day, your toolkit at the beginning of the day. Another tool in my toolkit that helps me take care of myself is my um, habit tracker. So what I'm going to do even tonight is I'm going to write down to myself, what did I say? Email link to the Zoom training to folks. I might do that tomorrow because I actually have a phone call after this. But I will fill in habit tracker. And you know what that's going to encourage me to do? Do some of those things that I can still do at this time of night to, to do those things, to brush my teeth, to wash my face, to drink the water, to have the vitamins, to maybe floss my teeth. It will encourage me to do those things. Okay, so that'll be good stuff. So yay, Therapy Gal Sue can make the TikTok live. Yeah. Also, one of the things I will do in the afternoon, and I have it written down, is to schedule the TikTok lives and YouTube lives for next week, and to schedule the declutter parties for November, and also schedule some Pilates and yoga. So a lot of that stuff, not the Pilates and yoga, a lot of those will be shared on the Destination Decluttered secret page. So you guys will know what some of November looks like, and then put those things in your calendar that you can help with. Okay. I just was reminding myself that I have a phone call right after this. So I am going to wind this up. It's 8:58 and a half, pretty close to an hour, wouldn't you say? So I don't necessarily need to hit it. It's not like I'm getting paid by the minute. So I'm going to wind down right now. I'm going to say good night to all of you. Wendy, you have a lovely evening. Carla Jane is saying, y'all come by. Y'all come back now. You hear? You know? And where is it? Do I have it here? Oh, crap. There was something. Oh, it's in the, I'll share it with you at some point. This was a lovely evening. Congratulations, Christine, on doing good stuff in your office. I know you did good stuff. Christine, thank you for getting us excited about decluttering and noticing the $200 plus of stuff you found because you decided to show up for yourself and declutter. Okay. It's been a lovely evening hanging out with you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow, and take care of yourself. Take care of each other.